Hey y'all, welcome to Figuring It Out with Kelly Renee. We're here to celebrate authenticity and living our most authentic lives. The struggles we face, while not uncommon, are many times unique to our stories. You and your story are important and valued and critical in a world filled with divisiveness and hate. I'm so glad you're here today. And some of you might wonder why I was posting a snow picture on April 19th. Yeah, me too. But then again, I'm wondering why it's snowing in Cleveland, Ohio on April 19th. Really? I don't have a good answer. If I was more inquisitive, I might look at all the atmospheric reasons for the snowfall and how the circumstances were just right for the snow. I'm not that inquisitive, so I guess I'll just simply accept it's snow. Besides, it's not like I have the power to change the weather or anything. But then again, I'm wondering why I spent nearly 2 hours getting my Ohio driver's license the other day, which concluded a nearly 2 month ordeal. I don't have a good reason for that circumstance either. Just whiz. I've had lots of thoughts about this one. Some good and positive and worthy, and others, well, let's just say I'm still a work in progress. You see, in Ohio, when you want to change your gender on your state ID or license, the state requires a letter from your doctor basically saying that in that doctor's opinion, you are, check the box, male or female. Interesting verbiage. My professional opinion is that the applicant's gender is, and again, check the box. For any who know me or have been following me for a while, you know we moved to Ohio from Tennessee a couple of months ago after more than 9 years in the Nashville area. And yes, while in Tennessee, I went through transition, changed my name, my gender, updated all my federal and state Tennessee records, including Social Security card, birth certificate, DD 214 from the Navy, Tennessee driver's license, a carry permit, insurance, bank accounts, passport, healthcare providers. Oh my goodness, the list goes on. And it seems like, when we come out, it just never ends. It's always something. Anyway, none of that mattered to the state of Ohio. See, because I lived in Ohio previously, and the state's records reflected a person who doesn't exist any longer, except in that state's database, they required a form from a doctor stating the above. Did that make sense with all the other evidence? No, but again, it's one of those things I can't explain. At first, I was told it was the law in Ohio, and after asking questions, many questions, I discovered it's not really the law. It's actually a DMV rule, and according to one of the customer service people I spoke to, they said that those are set by the director and the governor. My initial thought was the rule is ridiculous. Law, rule, whatever it is, it's totally ridiculous. Particularly the wording on the form. Lots of thoughts about that form. I won't go into it right now. Anyway, I was thinking about my own circumstances then, and not considering all the others in Ohio that want to correct their gender like I did in Tennessee. From that perspective, I got it. If I lived in Ohio and began transition, I would want to have a process in place to correct my gender too. I'm very grateful the process exists. Here's where the system fails. At least in circumstances like mine, where I had already done all this in another state and had the documentation to prove it. That was the first fail. The current system doesn't allow for common sense exceptions. I know. Some of you are thinking common sense and state government don't belong in the same sentence. Can we leave that conversation for another time? Anyway, the second fail is the inadequacy of the BV 2369 form itself, at least in my circumstance. Because see, the BV 2369 asks for legal name. Oops, my legal name doesn't match the old Ohio records. The 2369 also asks for a driver's license number. Oops again, I don't have an Ohio driver's license or Ohio ID. Anyway, I sent the forms in. When I hadn't heard back from anyone after sending the forms, I wondered why that might be. And I looked over the form again, and it occurred to me that there was no information on that form to tie it back to my old records. As anxious as I was to get this done and over with, it hadn't occurred to me before. So I called the BMV customer service folks again, and after a time and several calls, I was connected to someone who was kind enough to care. I told her the BMV 2369 form didn't ask for the right information to assign it to my old information in their system, and as we spoke, she got the point. See, I hadn't considered it at first, but when I didn't hear back, I had to take another look. If I've learned anything in the client experience space and life in general, it's that we have to look at things from the point of view of the client we are serving. So she called that group that does those changes. Now, customers can't talk to the license controlled group, and they don't. They let me. Excuse me. They let me know that I needed to add my old driver's license number and resubmit the form. Good thing I kept a copy of the doctor's letter. Interesting because according to Ohio law and most other states, once you get a new license in your current state, you should destroy the previous one. Hence, how would I know what my old driver's license number was? Had I not called, I may still be waiting for that letter from the License Control Board telling me I may now go to the local BMV to get my license. Fail 3, the process doesn't ask for any other info. For example, name change documents. If you're going to update a field not accessible by the local DMV offices, why not get everything you need and do the changes in the system and then send you to the office to get your new license? Nope. Instead, I go to the local DMV, provide all the correct documents, and the local DMV then faxes that info to the Columbus office for them to make the change. And they still have to scan the documents locally to justify the changes. That's right, the local offices do not have access to make these changes themselves. Oh, it was exhausting. I lost count of how many phone calls and faxes were sent while I waited, but after 2 hours, it finally all got done. Maybe the folks in the license control office don't understand the customer is waiting. Since they don't actually speak with customers, it's easy to imagine they have little concept of customer service. See, I told you I have a lot of thoughts about this. Anyway, managing a client and customer experience teams for years, it's easy to recognize opportunities to improve and fix a broken process. I commented to the person helping me that they must not do many gender changes, and she said no, quite to the contrary, they do quite a few. According to her, there's only a few people in Columbus that know how to make the changes in the system or have access and understand the way the process works. Interestingly, as near as I can figure, gender change requests from all over the state go to one office, and that's either understaffed or the staff isn't cross-trained or both. So anyway, it took 2 months and 2 hours to get my Ohio driver's license. My wife, on the other hand, took 20 minutes. Go figure. A few tweaks in the process, it might be streamlined for everyone if they want it. I must say, the folks at the Parma BMV office were awesome and most apologetic for all the delays. The point is, on the surface, this may seem like another instance where accepting what is, like snow, is the best I can do. I can't change it. I can't prevent it. It just is. And the sooner I accept that circumstance and move on, the better. Now, I can accept the disappointment in the cold, snowy weather. Hey, old friend, good to see you again. Sorry I can't stay and chat. I got things to do today, like stand in line at the BMV and get my new license. No matter the circumstances and thoughts that accompany them, acknowledging how it feels is the first step to getting past it. The good news is we can change how we think about those circumstances too. We can decide for ourselves and act appropriate to the thoughts and feelings those situations generate. Many times a decision is simply, what do you want to think and feel about any given situation? I did that with the license circumstance too. I acknowledged how it sucked. It felt petty and discriminatory and punitive, yet once I did, I was able to release myself to follow the rules and do what was asked. See, it's important to point out here that there's nothing wrong with feeling a certain way about the circumstances you find yourself in. Your feelings are always valid. They're your feelings. But staying stuck in the drama my mind wanted to create wasn't going to help me accomplish my goal, though. In order to get my new Ohio license, I had to move through those initial feelings and focus on the thoughts and feelings to get me to my goal. Do you find yourself stuck in your thoughts around discrimination and fairness? If you're trans or part of the LGBTQIA plus community, it's an easy trap to fall into. Heck, most of us can fall into that trap without even trying. Pick your passion. Unfortunately, those kind of thoughts don't help move us forward. What they do is trap us in indecision and procrastination and avoidance. Instead of moving forward, it's so easy to spin out of control. The result then is staying stuck or living with anger and resentment or disappointment or whatever comes up for you. That doesn't do anyone any good, especially you. It's like the weather. Some things we just can't do anything about. Fighting it or getting mad or upset isn't going to change it. It just is. Getting my license was a pain in the butt, and the process is what it is. Losing my mind over it wasn't going to help. I can go back and try to change the system, sure. And I could, if I choose to do that, but that wouldn't help me get done what I needed to, not in the moment anyway. Unlike the weather, I may be able to impact how the state of Ohio BMV handles gender change, if nothing more than to help streamline the process to make it easier for everyone in the future, not just the client, but also the staff who has to work within the system. The cost of doing this to the state had to be huge. Multiple phone calls and chats to customer service, the handling of incomplete or poorly designed forms, the calls from the local BMV offices to Columbus, the multiple faxes sent, and everyone's time involved. See, I can picture a much more streamlined process where everyone's time and privacy are honored and all the legal checks and balances are maintained. That'll be for another day, though. What about you? Is there something you get stuck on? Is there something holding you back from accomplishing what's most important today? Is it someone misgendering you at work or at the store? How does that make you feel? What thoughts come up in you when it happens, and what emotion does that bring up? What action do those thoughts produce? You know it's going to happen. Many times when you least expect it. Are you prepared? If you get stuck, let's chat. Maybe we can clear up some of the confusion and get you on a clear path forward. I know I can help. I want to encourage you, no matter where you are today, you are valued, you are loved, you are oh so precious. I see your smiles and joyfulness, and I see your tears and struggles, hurt feelings and loneliness. I also celebrate with you. I celebrate your success and the steps you're taking to be who you are. I am more and more committed to community and connection and building the bridge between what is and what can be. I love you. You matter. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. It really helps. And remember, life's too short. Be kind. Do good. We'll talk soon.